The Air Force Museum is free to visit and located on the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Southwest Ohio. Air Force Liaison aircraft are small, unarmed planes used for artillery observation, battlefield reconnaissance, air ambulance, column control, light cargo delivery and similar duties. Many were known as grasshoppers due to their short takeoff and landing capabilities and operated from small, unimproved fields under primitive conditions. Most Liaison aircraft were developed from or were later used as general aviation aircraft. The 1962 Tri-Service Aircraft Designation System changed the designation for these aircraft from Liaison to Utility. The L-1A Vigilant was the military version of the civilian Stinson Model 74. It performed a variety of missions both in the United States and overseas during World War II. This L-1A is painted as an ambulance conversion. The L-2M Grasshopper was adapted for military use from the commercial Taylorcraft tandem trainer. It was not used in combat or sent overseas during World War II, and it was only used for liaison pilot training. It is painted to represent another L-2M flown at the Atkinson Municipal Airport during the war. The L-3B was the military version of the Aeronca Model 65 Defender. During World War II, Aeronca L-3s joined similar grasshoppers in frontline liaison service and pilot training. This L-3B found its way into private hands as surplus after the war. The L-4A Grasshopper was the military version of the Piper J-3 Cub. Between 1941 and 1945 the U.S. Army Air Force procured almost 6,000 Piper aircraft. This Grasshopper is painted and marked to represent an L-4 that flew in support of the Allied invasion of North Africa in November 1942. The L-5 was the military version of the commercial Stinson 105 Voyager. Between 1942 to 1945, the Army Air Force ordered 3,590 L-5s, making it the second most widely used liaison aircraft. It remained in service in Asia and the Pacific as late as 1955. It is marked as an L-5 of the 25th Liaison Squadron serving in New Guinea in 1944. The L-6 Grasshopper was the military version of the Interstate S-1B Cadet, a tandem-seat liaison airplane. The aircraft had significant overheating problems that were only partially solved. The Army Air Force used the L-6 in the United States but never shipped it overseas. American military services used the North American L-17A Navion from the late 1940s through the early 1960s. During the Korean War, some L-17s were pressed into service for a short time as forward air control aircraft. This plane is marked as an L-17B used by the Air Force ROTC program at Bradley University in the spring of 1959. Designated L-20 until 1962, the de Havilland U-6A Beaver served the Air Force for courier service, passenger transport, light cargo, reconnaissance, rescue and aerial photography missions. It served in both the Korean and Southeast Asia wars. It carries markings typical of Air Force L-20, U-6 aircraft during the late 1950s and 1960s. The U-3 is the military version of the Cessna 310 twin-engine transport. The Air Force bought 160 off-the-shelf under the original designation L-27A, later changed to U-3A. The aircraft on display is one of several U-3s that were transferred to the U.S. Army. The Air Force purchased 3 L-28 Super Couriers, super due to their more powerful engine, and designated them L-28A and later redesignating them U-10A. Eventually, more than 100 additional U-10As were ordered, mainly for use by air commando units in Southeast Asia. The U-10D on display is painted and marked as an aircraft assigned to the 5th Air Commando Squadron in Southeast Asia in 1968. I hope you enjoyed this narrated virtual tour of Liaison aircraft exhibited at the Air Force Museum. If you would like to tour other aircraft in this series, you will find convenient links in the description section below this video. Here are YouTube suggested links on a similar topic that you may enjoy viewing.